Hey everybody, and welcome back to Brooks Hobby Shop on a beautiful, bright, sunny day. It is November the 25th actually, still not quite Thanksgiving, and we're continuing our archaeology, if you will. I'm going to start calling it Electronics Archiology on this roadside find. Discarded 1960s Magnavox color television that has lost thus far, as I can tell, any inkling of a sign of its model number or chassis service number or even a series number, anything totally unidentified so far. But in the previous videos, I introduced this and we got it into the shop and got the back off of it and did our initial exploration. And at this point, as you can see if you're just joining, we have finally got the chassis removed, and that was an adventure because the tuning and control cluster for this television had a type of mounting that I've never had to work with before. So had an adventure getting this drop down out of the front of it. But in my quest to revive this old television, I need some information on it, and roaches, rats, age, and everything else have just, along with obliterating our speaker cone, shredded all of that information, including in the cabinet back where our tube chart and all of that information for the most part is eaten away and destroyed. So I'm going to be looking for remnants of all this inside the television. As today we start what I'm going to call the excavation process. I'm inventing new terminology around this project. Just like an archaeological dig, where they're very careful about preserving everything and trying not to destroy anything valuable, we're going to try to clean up this chassis today while preserving any scraps of information like this that can be pieced back together still like a puzzle that will give a definite model number for this television, because I've never worked on this particular model Magnavox before, and none of the limited Magnavox service information I have, none of my Howard W. Sams that I have on Magnavox is even similar to this. So I would like to find today, if I could, a service number, a model number, a chassis number, something that will help me get into this and not have to diagram this whole sucker from scratch, because if I can't find that information, that's what I'm going to be down to doing in case a carbon comp resistor smokes and loses its color code later or something. I'm going to have to do like I've done on other projects, just a good rough diagram identifying everything that I think needs to be identified before I really go apply any power or anything to this. But today we're going to get into the excavation on this chassis. We're just going to move it outside into the sun, and in my last video I thought I was going to get further with that, but got me a bag here where everything like that piece of paper right there, that little scrap, we're just going to pick out and get rid of. Well, we'll drop it in the bag. anything with any writing on it, like especially like right here where we kind of got bold print. See right there, there's something that could be crucial. That could be crucial. But for right now, we're just going to get into this and start brushing it out and kind of lightly blowing it out. You got to kind of be careful with compressed air on stuff like this, but I'll point all that out as I do it. So, without further ado, while I've still got plenty of sun here, let's get outside and get started on this. Unknown Magnavox. And I guess this will be, what, part 4 by now? But, okay, here we go. A lot of people might find this kind of tedious and boring, but if you're into old electronics and studying old designs like me, this is what it's all about. This is actually one of the most fun parts of the process for me. It's a chance to look through the chassis, study its original design, and maybe get some clues as to its history, past work that's been done on it, and adjustment pots like that, maybe uncover their labeling, what's their function. I'm not going to take the tubes out of the sockets at this point because I don't want any of the air to just blow. I don't want to blow trash into all of that. Tubes can over time come to make bad contact, and I just don't want to blow any debris into those sockets and increase the risk of that. So this is just a chance to keep getting acquainted with what I'm working on. And a lot of what we've covered on this television so far, even though it's been multiple videos, normally back before I was doing all of this for YouTube, this all would have been about half a day's work for me. It's going into multiple days here, and that was foreseeable just because the editing for YouTube and all is taking more time. But let's take a look at our IF strip here and see what we can see. Looking good. Looking very, very good. I don't really have anything to point with, but got another roach egg sack right there, kind of precariously, right there on that coil. So I want to be very careful about breaking that loose if I can. There we go. There we go. I tell you, I think I actually prefer rat damage to roach damage. But that's looking good, and we can already see we've got our first and second IF tubes appear to be original. This one right here, our third IF is kind of questionable. I can't tell if that's a Magnavox or not. It might be, but it's been pulled before, because notice the labeling is actually gone from it. That comes about from handling. But we already knew this television had work done on it before. Looks like we got a General Electric tube right here. So anyway, I'm just going to start blowing this out now, and any scraps of paper with writing that might contain any clues, I'm going to be careful to hold on to. But one thing, I want to point out right here, and I'm working in the sun, so the sun is swamping my screen. I can't really see precisely what I'm pointing at, but right here, talking about being careful about using compressed air, that right there is, if y'all are seeing it, that is the degaussing thermistor. And you've got to be excruciatingly careful about those. They get hot in operation, and in a lot of old televisions, they are just barely holding together. They don't have anything really structurally holding them together. It's just a carbon disc that changes value with load, and they get hot in operation. And the leads, if you can see, are just soldered on to each side of that disc, and they are virtually impossible to resolder. Most of the time when you try to resolder one of these, they just shatter. So when you're using compressed air to clean a chassis like this, you want to be extremely, extremely careful of a degaussing thermistor in a color television. And in all televisions and radios, you want to be very careful. You know, don't hit like something like this with 120 psi. Don't do that. That is the kind of thing that will cause you a lot of headaches later on. You can very easily damage a connection down at the base of a coil, and open that circuit up, and that's going to cause you a lot of headaches later on. A lot of people just go and they get right on down in there, you know, they just like dig in with the nozzle and all, and you don't want to hit that too hard, and you certainly don't want to hit that degaussing thermistor too hard. So I kind of just start at a distance, and then the more and more I see, I just got a little scrap of paper there. Does it have any writing on it? No, that's just a scrap of paper. Okay, the search continues. But yeah, don't go crazy with the compressed air when you're trying to clean up something like this. You can inflict a lot of damage that on parts that are tedious to rework, and you don't really, you know, it's just better for everybody and the project overall if you have to rework just as little as possible. Televisions from this era, capacitors in particular, were hitting a really high point in the art of building and durability. Generally, it was thought of that capacitors like these would just be, you know, lifetime components for the television. And we're going to have to test them and probably replace at least a few sections in these just to revive this. But unlike televisions and radios from earlier periods that had the wax seal capacitors and all in them, these were epoxy sealed, a lot of them, and practically all of them in this by this point. So while color televisions are more complex to work on, and TVs from this period, you know, they're not as collectible as the really old ones. Even when you get into something that looks like a daunting huge job like this, sometimes the ones from the 50s and all can be more daunting than these, because you have so many more parts to replace. And then you get into something newer like these, where you've got epoxy, you got these orange drops, as a lot of people call them. These epoxy seal capacitors, and more of these ceramic disc type capacitors. You don't have as much capacitor work to do, even in a larger project like this. By the way, that looks to be a diode, and I believe it is. Yeah, we got a polarity marking on that. That is a little bit concerning to me, because I think I was kind of hoping that was a bleeder resistor for the picture tube. A lot of televisions from this period had to discharge the picture tube for safety for the serviceman, but that is a diode. And if that is the focus rectifier, then what have I found that's smoked inside the high voltage compartment here that I was thinking was the focus rectifier? So might have something else going on there. Okay, I won't bore y'all with every spit and detail of this, so I'm just going to keep blowing this thing out and bring y'all back for the result. Oh, this chassis is just cleaning up beautifully. Look at that. Resistor, color code shining brightly. Phantom tracing from the circuit traces on the other side of the circuit board, so clearly visible. Or they made it visible, but it's there. Yeah, we can follow that. Just using compressed air and a soft bristle brush with a good reach. Get down in here and just kind of gingerly loosen all this up. And then oh yeah, never judge a book by its cover, y'all. Never judge a book by its cover. It looks so trashed, and yet look at the way this is cleaning up. Oh yeah, I'm starting to feel really good about this one. Quick note, when I was pulling the shield and all off of the VIF section, make note of spring clips and all like these, especially in color televisions, when you find them anchored to the chassis right here. You know, this is actually the grounding clip for the picture tube, and you need to have it there. You need to have that sucker grounded, because if you don't, you can a buddy of mine years ago brought me one that he had gone through and gotten playing, and it played great, but every once in a while it would just shoot off about like a small caliber pistol. And it was because he had left a little mechanical device, a little mechanical provision like this out. and static charge was building up on the picture tube, and having to arc about that far to ground after it became sufficient. So be aware, and you know, just pay attention to things like this when you're going through your initial disassembly on projects like this. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and remove these insulators from the back of the chassis here, and there's no screws holding them on, but gonna have to take out these screw mounts here on each side. That's what's anchoring all of this. And here's a testament to how wrong I was thinking this television had a full power transformer in it when I first found it. Warning, the chassis of this device is directly connected to one side of the power line. So what we got here is an AC-DC power supply with some of the heater string isolated. So good to know, but these little suckers right here just snap in from the other side. So there's a little scrap of paper. I'll save it for what little that's worth, but right now I'm not being choosy. I'm just saving every little tiny scrap I find. But I want to go ahead and get all this out of the way. Any egg sacks and all back there behind all of it. Go ahead and get this thing really cleaned up right. So that's what I'm about to do here as I continue this chassis excavation. Our first glimpse underneath, and look at that. Look at how clean that is. So far, so good. I'm guessing filter choke, definitely audio output transformer, vertical output transformer, more trash. I'm moving slow with this, y'all. I'm actually being extremely, excruciatingly careful here. Since I'm not sure that I'll ever have data on this, I do not want anything that I would have trouble identifying to get brushed away. So I have been at this for a while, actually. Focus transformer for our push-pull focus with the movable core. We already knew that was going to need a little attention. But you know, I could have found the remains of a rat bed up under here, or just, you know, it could have gone more typical of the kind of stuff I get into, but this is looking good. I have to remove this shield later when it's in the shop, but I am seeing so far no split capacitors, nothing looking charred, overheated. It'll be a shop job to really get in close, but looking at the tube sockets, not really seeing any clearly visible cracked solder joints on any tube sockets. And here's our combined vertical oscillator and output. And normally, a lot of times the board underneath a tube like that will be really just blackened, and you'll have like a bunch of cooked pin connectors here for the socket. Obviously this television was played in a climate controlled environment, and a clean one, a non-smoking one. No tobacco tar evident. Just everywhere I look, it is just underneath it just gleams. That's what I like to see. That's what we love to see. Okay, let's see if I can demonstrate how to remove these suckers right here to get those insulating panels off the back of the chassis. Is it gonna let me demonstrate that, or is my camera gonna blur? Okay. 2 tabs you got to squeeze in and try to push out from the back. There was no thinking that anybody would ever take these out when they installed them, so they're pretty hard to access. The one on the other side out. There we go. There we go. There we go. I don't even know if y'all saw that or not. Yeah, you did. Another thing to keep track of, because you're going to need these insulators. Otherwise, since, as we discovered a while ago, one side of the AC line connects directly to the chassis in this, you're going to have a shock hazard if you don't replace these insulators where the screws that hold the back on go in. The other one is going to be next to impossible for me to show on camera because it is tucked. Come on. Come on, tripod. All right. It is tucked right there behind all of that, but I've got to try to remove it, basically get it unsnapped and get that insulating panel off the back of the chassis. The same way I did this one, just a whole lot more difficult. But anyway, you've seen one, so you're gonna have to improvise on just imagining on this one. Okay, that was every bit as hard as it promised to be, but not hell. Just lay the chassis over, get it into a good position, and squeeze one tab, push in on one tab with pliers, and reach through from the side with a flathead screwdriver and get it up there above it, and just kind of brace it against the chassis and just sort of twist to compress the other tab, and out it popped. So not the easiest job, but not hell either. Okay. And still watching out for our degaussing thermistor. Are you still okay, honey? Okay. All that moving of the chassis and wire harness getting pushed around and moved around. I don't want anything to strike and dislodge that carbon disc from that sucker. All right, let's see what we got here. Uh-oh, we got numbers. Serial number. Okay, and coming on across. Get it, buddy. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Hey, what we got right here, please. T9 2408 AR chassis. Oh my God. January 1969. Whoo! January 1969. We actually got a manufacturing date. All right. Why didn't I just throw that over there on the grass? Oh, this is beautiful. We have got a chassis number T9 2408. Looks like AR. January 1969, and y'all, that is kind of a rare event right here to even find a label with a manufacturing date on equipment from this era. So we have just solved some mystery here, just that quick, just by removing a panel from the back of the chassis. You see? Antique electronic archaeology, y'all, it pays. I still got some crud and all. All back here. All right, so I need to get this one off. And it is pretty much the same way, only a lot. Yeah, all right. Just gonna have to squeeze in back here, and I won't take y'all through that, but I'm going to try to get these out without breaking them and pull this off and finish cleaning this sucker up. And we'll go back inside, and I'm still curious to find an actual model number. We got a chassis number is pretty generic. I mean, they'll get you service data. We can get service data now. But I would still like to know, you know, just academically, if I could find it somewhere, the remains of the actual model of the Magnavox television this chassis was used in. But I cannot believe we got a manufacturing date. Don't even have to guess. I wonder what date the service data will be for it. Will it be 1969, or will Howard W. Sam's listed as a 68, or will they include it in a set from 1970? But, and by the way, that's kind of new. Magnavox kind of went solid state kind of early on, so I would have thought anything from Magnavox as new as 1969 would have been at least partially hybrid, but I have not seen a transistor or IC anywhere in this sucker. This sucker, as far as I'm seeing so far, is all tube. All right, let me get that off and finish cleaning this honey up. Woo! All right, that actually went entirely too easy. They just pried out with a flathead screwdriver and did not break. But you see, we got some provisions for lead dress here in this, so I want to be careful not to break it out. They're common to chip and break out around where wires are run through, so I want to be careful about that. But let's see if we can discover together what we got behind this. Oh, come on. Come on, honey. Come on, don't break, don't break. This stuff is brittle and it will break. Oh, see right there. Okay, but let's see, will that actually snap back in? There we go, there we go. No roach egg sacks or spoke too soon. Okay. But we are about to be done with the chassis excavation, and it has been fruitful. Oh yeah. All right. Okay. I tell y'all, I enjoy this. I know it's boring for people to watch, but I really enjoy this, and since I'm trying to show absolutely everything on this project in a series of videos, I wasn't going to deprive, if there's even one other living, breathing being in the world out there, anything like me, I didn't want to deprive them of any of this. Hopefully we don't have any tin whiskers formed inside of any of these controls. More talk about that later on, but it actually cleaned up beautifully, wonderfully. It was looking like such a dirty, filthy television, and yet it has just with light brushing and so on and so forth, with a lawnmower going right across the road from me, it's cleaned up wonderfully. Okay, since I'm still curious about an actual model number, we're gonna get this into the shop and I guess start picking and searching through the cabinet to see if we can find any gold in that. All right. Loud lawnmower. Okay, we're back in the shop, and I took this outside and I gave it the same treatment that I gave the chassis. Did have a rat bed in this, actually, tucked right up here in the front corner and up underneath the purity shield. No corpses or anything, but did have a rat bed, and that is where a lot of what you're about to see actually came from. This is the haul from the chassis and cabinet excavation, y'all. So sometime when I have nothing else to do and I'm bored, I've got all of this that I can go through. Right here, and we found this earlier, but found it again. Serial number for the picture tube, and I will reattach that to the picture tube back where they originally had it. So I want to definitely hang on to that. The rest of this, by this point, I might find something kind of curious and interesting in it, but not holding out a lot of hope. I'm actually thinking now that earlier, this is the actual model number for this television, 1C6250. That would be the television model number, walnut finish, serial number, 250 watts. And we actually, I was kind of surprised for what little it's worth, and y'all, it's worth very little. But we've actually got a little bit of cone still left in that speaker. They didn't quite get all of it. So for a little while I'm going to leave this in, and we'll see maybe if he'll still talk at all like that. And I'm planning in the next video to go ahead and test the picture tube in this for myself and everybody else out there who by now might be clamoring for it. I would include it in this video, except my process on that is kind of lengthy and all, so I'll do a video about rejuvenating. Well, hopefully we don't need to rejuvenate, but we'll test the picture tube in this, and fingers crossed that we don't need rejuvenation. Anyway, let's get to the main event. Right here in ShopLight, I can now see that our model number, our chassis number, is actually T92408AB. AB, not AR, but AB. So let's see if we've got a winner. I've got a 1982 Howard W. Sam's PhotoFact index here, and look at what it cost back in 1982. So anyway, we'll just go through, see if we can find all right. Well, there's Magnavox. Well, all right, we are in Magnavox. Okay. All right, they were already North American Phillips by the time this was published, but T910, okay, and we're looking for what? T924? 92408 AB. All right. See, 933, 919, 921, 23, 924, 018A, 01BA, 02AA, and then okay right here, and then all right, now we're at 925. It's this one. T92408. AACA, and then it jumps to 09. Okay, seems like that used to happen to me absolutely all the time with Magnavox, Motorola. Okay, well, let's see, I'm losing a page out of this now, but anyway, the 1982 is kind of handy because our dates are all conveniently right inside the front cover. So let's see, 92408, 956-2, 956-2. That would be between 930 and 1001, so Sam's has her at 1968. 1968. Let's see, since that page decided to volunteer to tear loose, let's see, where was it? Right there. 924, 08, 956-2. Star right there. Follow that on down. Star denotes color TV. We have found the service data for this. On Motorola's, Sam's would list the model number and the chassis number, and that caused confusion back in the day. But apparently with Magnavox, they just don't even bother listing the model number, and that's, or at least they don't all the time, and that's just as well. Anyway, I've got another consideration now that I was hoping to avoid, because moving this outside and then back in, blowing it out, and then bringing it in and hitting it with a vacuum cleaner. Look at what my vacuum cleaner did when I was vacuuming right here. It just broke that. Just lifted that right up. Totally broke it. Had another section of the cabinet floor right here that just sucked up into the Electrolux. And I wasn't even bearing down. I was using the camel hair nozzle. And there it is. Let's see, other things. I got about 101 things on my mind I want to mention, but what was something else about the chassis? Oh yeah, outside I said that I had not seen a single transistor or IC, and on the main chassis that is the truth. But we do have one solid state device in this, because for me it's easy to overlook the UHF tuner. Our VHF tuner is too, but UHF tuners by this time would have a solid state mixer and oscillator in them. So that doesn't quite qualify it as a hybrid in my mind, but for the sticklers out there, I want to go ahead and mention that. And in an effort to keep my videos shorter nowadays and more targeted to the immediate topic, oh yeah, look at what I did. I'm about to go ahead and end this one, but before I do that, let me show you what I did. Happened at some point out there. If I can get this sucker to focus on it. Just broke that loose. It just broke a loose from right there, so I'm going to have to reconnect that. And that arrangement right there kind of looks sketchy to me, but back in the 60s, trying to stuff a color TV, at least one that was worth anything, into... What's going on with my focus? Come on. Trying to stuff that into a cabinet that size, manufacturers were still, experimenting with ways to do it. And I've seen other televisions that had just, kind of quirky arrangements like that from the factory. So we'll, for the moment, accept that as factory original. Anyway, as I was saying, trying to keep my videos shorter and more targeted, I'm going to go ahead and end this one here, y'all. We've achieved the primary purpose of this video at this point. So, go out there and find something that interests you and dive into it. And don't worry, don't let anybody tell you, that it's not worth it. You're wasting your time, that it's trash, it's junk, it's blah, 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 Remember, it's not work if you're enjoying yourself. And I'm going to have to look at this more, but I think it's just about upon me to go ahead and replace the cabinet floor in this television. We got a good cabinet in every other way, just with a really shitty floor. So, more about that later. I guess I'll have to do a video on it because it's going to slow the project down, and I might as well. But anyway, Next video, we're going to test the picture tube, and I'll go in depth on that for the beginners out there. So until next time, y'all take care, enjoy yourselves, and be good. Brooks Hobby Shop. We're out.